Welcome. My name is Ron Haylog, and I am the Emergency Preparedness Coordinator with Independent Living Resources of Solano, Contra, Costa counties. I'm so happy to actually give you a battery orientation. We're kind of updated it from what we had before, but we wanted to touch up on some certain things that we've learned along the way. So really quick, what we're going to do is we're going to show you this battery, and this battery is a Yeti 1500-watt battery. Now, regardless of what you got, what you received from a 3000X to a 3000 to a 500X to a 1500X, we're pretty much going to be covering some of the basics for you. So you'll notice that you have an input section right here, and you've got actually two connectors. The 1500 actually comes with this connector. And so what you would be doing is just plugging in your little transformer, I call it a brick, into this spot, and then plugging your power cord into the wall, and that will automatically start charging it up. But I also wanted to share with you too, that if you have a 3000, you have the Anderson connector, and you don't notice that there's a red and a black. You just want to match on your charging cord, the red to red, black to black, and you just plug that in and then plug it into the wall, and it will start charging your battery. So I happen to have both of them, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you really quick. I have one that's already plugged into the wall, and what we're going to do is we're going to be plugging straight into here. And notice when I plug it in, the little core or a little display actually pops on, and it will start showing you how much input is there. So for this particular connector charger, you have 118 watts of power going back into the battery. Down here below, you have how much of a percentage you actually have. This battery is completely charged up because we always want to make sure that it's ready to go. So you'll see that it's 100%. On this side, it would tell you how long it would take to get it charged up to 100%. So say you have it at 90% or 80%, it will tell you how long in hours that it would take. And when this thing's completely dead, what you'll find out is that this battery takes a while to actually charge up, from 10 hours or more. So this is something you're going to, just plug in and just let it go. It's not going to be an overnight or a 5-minute kind of a deal. You'll also notice too, when it's charging, you've got this little blue light that's always popping on and off. And that just tells you that it is charging. So this is with this cord. So what we're going to do is we're going to unplug this, and notice that the display still stays on. If you ever want to turn that display off, there's a little button on the very middle part, and it's called light. It's right there. What you're going to do is just push that, and it turns off the display. So the next connector we're going to be plugging in is this Anderson connector. And this Anderson connector, again, it has a red to red, black to black, and you're just going to match that up into the connector on the battery and let it charge. So red to red, black to black, got that. And when I push it in, it's like it will start charging. Again, you'll start noticing that the blue light's on. And I don't know if you guys caught the other thing, but remember the other connector that we had? That was about 117 watts of power being pumped back in. This one will actually put 220 watts of power back into the battery. So it's a little bit more heavy duty. This connector actually comes with a Yeti 3000. And so, it's just because it's a bigger battery. The smaller batteries don't need that kind of input. But then I'm going to share with you one more connector that we do have that does go to a Yeti 6000. And the 6000, I'm not going to plug this one in because you don't need to see it. It's pretty much the same as what the last one was. This one is a bigger charger. still has the Anderson connector on it, but this one is a 600 watt. And it will probably cut in half the time it takes to charge. So that's why it's primarily with the 6,000 watt battery, because the 6,000 will take you days to actually charge, where roughly the 3,000 will take about the same time to charge up, but with the other standard connector. So this one's a lot heavier duty, you can see. And so just wanted to let you know, but it does also have the Anderson connector. Now, once it's charged up to 100%, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this one back on again. I can do this with my little pointer. We're going to turn it back on again, and you'll see that we have 100%. Nothing's plugged into it. And so what you want to do, if you do need to use this battery, the very, 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 very first thing you're going to do is hit this little AC button. And I know it's very faint, but that's a button. And so what you're going to do is push that, get that little light on, and notice one thing that happened. On your output, you're showing 9 watts of power going out from the battery. But wait a minute, there's nothing plugged in, right? It's because what's happening is the inverter in the battery is kicking that direct current from a battery setting to an AC current. So basically, these two outlets are now like the same thing in your wall at home. So you can plug in anything you want. Yeah, people ask me, can I plug in my refrigerator? Yes, you can, but just know the refrigerators take a lot of power. So when you get these batteries, they're really for your medical devices. So, again, you can plug in anything, but these are meant for your medical devices. So once that's on, you can then plug in your device, turn it on, and it will run. When you do that, what will happen is it will tell you on this side how long it will last. So right now, with nothing plugged in, pulling 9 watts of power, this thing will run 99.9 hours. Again, it can't go up over 100. That's why it's 99 hours. But it will give you a general idea of how long this battery, fully charged, will actually make it last, that you can use your medical device. So one quick thing too is, like, if you're not plugged in, if you're not using it, please turn this off. You don't need to keep it on, because if you do, what'll happen is your battery is going to be wearing out a lot quicker. You also have USB ports down here, but just note, just because you hit this little AC button doesn't mean that you actually have these USB ports live. There is a reason why. So let's turn that off. And let's turn this one on. USB. Yes, there's a button that says USB on there. If I can do that. If not, I'm going to get my little finger in there. There it goes. And so you'll see that now these outlets are now charged. They're ready to go. They're ready for you to plug in. You can actually charge up your phone if you want to, run anything you want to that runs off of USB B ports. So again, it's nice, but notice one thing. Once I push that, how come there's no output? It's because you did not have to invert that power from the battery to an AC current. This one's running straight from your battery power. So, but again, if you're not using it, just do yourself a favor, click that off. And then one other thing that you have, these are another outlets. These are your 12 volt. Same thing as what's in your car. That's why you see this. Yeah, it looks like a cigarette lighter. Housing for it, it is. It's like, if you want, you can actually plug in your cigarette lighter car charger plug it in there. But before you do that, you always turn on the switches first, and then you plug in. So, but you can actually run your, recharge your cell phone if you want to from your car, or these little connectors, I was told, are actually for portable microphones that are charged by battery. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So something different. And then you also have another Anderson connector down here below. So these are some things, general ideas of what you can do with this battery, how to use it. I do want to emphasize that every single battery that we deliver, we give an orientation to. That, you know, basically when I come on out, I'll give you the orientation. That way I know you know how to use it during any kind of emergency. If you do forget, please refer back to this, this video recording. But if you really want to learn more about it, you're going to be getting the user guide, and everything's in this, has a catalog in it, again, through Goal Zero. I'm going to open it up so you'll see it. So in here, again, you have a user guide, which is always nice to read through. Yeah, it's a little thick. If you want to read through that, I would say 90% of the stuff that I just, that they tell you in here, I just went through in the last 5 minutes or so. It also has a catalog. So say you want to get a bigger charger because you don't want to be sitting around all the time, you can definitely go through. Oh, guess what? They even have solar panels that you can purchase. I'm not a salesperson for Goal Zero, but you know, some people I know have asked me. They've got some other things that are in here as well. So you know, definitely go through it. Oh, and by the way, there's this little cart back here. Yeah, you get the cart and the battery together. Typically, the 1500 does not come with the cart, but we wanted to make sure that people did get it. It's something nice to have, and that way, these things typically weigh about 25 pounds. The 3000 weighs about 70 pounds, so it does take some time, or it does take the ease off of actually carrying this. Now, this is the Goal Zero Yeti app. And if you want to hook up your phone using the app to your battery, you're more than welcome to. What'll happen is you'll be able to control your battery, or check on your battery anywhere in the world. And everybody asks me, well, what's the benefit of that? This battery actually has firmware, and it's like software, but firmware. And sometimes the firmware can be a little bit old, and where you might need to update it. And if you do need to update it, I actually made a video. It's on our website at www.ilrscc.org. And when you go to our website, there's that blue banner on the very, very bottom. That blue banner has a gold button that says Get Support. Just click on that button, and that will take you to the page. And it has all the videos, including this one. So it's definitely something to take a look at. If you don't want to, no need to, but sometimes it's fun just to experiment with, not experiment with, but to be up on it. And it takes about, I'd say about 10 minutes to actually do the update on the firmware. Some people kind of get hesitant about it, but again, I walk you through it on the video, just like this one. The last thing I have, when you do get this, it's the Allen wrench. And the reason why I'm giving you also why you get an Allen wrench is because, again, this battery comes on the cart, and you can see from the very bottom that it has these bolts on the bottom that attaches the battery and the cart together. And all you would need to do is the Allen wrench just goes right on in, and you can unloosen it. This one's nice and tight. You can loosen it and then take the battery off. And just make sure you hold on to the cart, because again, these things do get a little bit heavy, and we want to make sure you're going to be able to move it if you need to. The last thing, I'm going to have to change the angle of the camera. So I'm going to pick this thing up so you can see the top of it. It does open up. And this is where you're going to be doing the let's say the Yeti app connection. So that's your Bluetooth connection button that you would need to push. But then also, it also has an input, same as this one down here. And also it has the 12 volt output, just like this one down here. So there's some redundancy, but I like this area only because of the fact that, you know what, you can store your booklets or anything in there, so you can always have access to it. So I'm going to close this up. Oh, and one last thing. Sometimes what may happen is I will call you up and I will need this serial number. It's right up here. And so if I do call you up and say, hey, where's the serial numbers? It's like, oh, that I might need. It's like that. Now, that way you know exactly where it's at. So I'm going to close this up, put this right back down here. And then again, you'll notice that the screen's still on. If you, I don't like it on all the time, you can just hit that and that's turned off at this point. And I love these batteries only for the simple fact that when you use it, there's no loud noises like a generator. You don't have to worry about gasoline. You don't have to worry about pulling a starter motor. It's basically, you hit this button, plug in your item, your device, and start using it. But again, with this, it's not a whole house. I know I've seen the commercials from Goal Zero. This is not a whole house. Think of this like a gas tank. When the gas is gone, it doesn't work. So you only have so much power. In this battery, you've got 1,500 watts. In the 3,000, you've got 3,000 watts. So when it's gone, it's gone. You're gonna have to recharge it. So with that, if you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to me. My email is Ron, R-O-N-H, like in hotel, at ilrscc.org. And you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you very much, and hope you have a wonderful day, and make sure you're staying safe and being prepared. Thank you so much.